What if you overthink overthinking?
You just did it. So, then just let it go. So I say this all the time, and I always feel sorry for the students in the room who've been hearing me for too long now. But if you have something heavy, and you've been holding it for your whole life, to let go of it is just the letting go. You open your hand. And it's the same thing as if it's something really inconsequential or light, like a little feather, or whether it's a heavy stone. The action of letting go is the same. So here comes a thought. What do I do if I overthink my overthinking? That's this. That's this. So if that appears in your mind, just let it go. And then what's next? Breathe in, breathe out. Maybe the smell of the tea, maybe you have an itch in your leg, maybe the person behind you, hiccups. Back to your breath. And then maybe that thought out of habit comes again. But I always overthink my overthinking. How can I stop that? All the people around me don't overthink, they're overthinking. And you're gone, right? So as soon as you realize it, just go, let go. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe in. This breath thing is so powerful. It's the gateway, that exchange between our physical body and the inside and the outside. And it's something where we can park our energy so it doesn't go up here, right? So it's interesting, when we get to the point where we are out of ideas, right? That means our center is not strong. So if you want your center to become stronger, 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 that can happen with breathing. And I will say this, is that a lot of people, when you say to people in meditation class, okay, everybody breathe in, 99% of the people go like this, and they suck in their stomach, and that's like a holding the breath up here, and you say breathe out. So that's an upside down kind of breathing. When we were babies, we sat there with our big baby bellies. Babies know how to breathe. But then over time, our energy comes up, 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 up. And we hang out in these two places up here, our thinking and our feelings. And we just, out of habit, we just hang out there. Whoa. And this poor center down here gets lost or forgotten. So when you breathe, everybody put your hands on your lower belly and close your eyes for a minute, please. When you breathe in, think of your lower belly like a balloon, and when I say breathe in, fill that balloon up so that your belly gets bigger, bigger, bigger. Ready? Breathe in. Fill the balloon and breathe out. Then your stomach gets smaller, smaller, smaller. Breathe in. Bigger, bigger, bigger. And breathe out. Smaller, smaller, smaller. Okay. That's your Tanjian. And when we begin to breathe this way, that energy up or over emotion comes down, down. So, those dolls that have the weight in the bottom, and you bat them over and they pop right back up, and you bat it over and it pops right back up. That's keeping your center strong center. That's meditation, gives you that ability to do that. If we keep all our energy up in our head, if that doll had all the weight up in its head, it would fall down. It wouldn't be able to get back up very easily. It would take like an army of other bodhisattva dolls to pick it up, So that's what happens to us, and in the same thing can happen with our emotions, And so it's so valuable to come back to the breath and come back to your center. And it's this connection that is always exchanging between us and the inside and outside us in the universe. It's very, very powerful. And so it can help us a lot. I mean, what happened to your nephew is so sad. I can't even. But something happened where he thought there was no way out. And that could have been in his head, you know, an idea that he couldn't let go of. It could have been an anxiety thing in his emotions. But the more that we can learn all of these techniques and how to come back to our center and how to stay in this present moment and keep our mind open for maybe in the next moment something will change. You know, I won't always be in this state of pain, right? That's got a lot of power in it, and that just comes from the breath and staying in the moment, not spinning out. One of the other things that we do is we create time and space. And this creation of time and space really fundamentally comes from the creation of I am, this illusory sense that we all have of sort of I'm this thing, this discrete entity. But this time and space continuum that we create moment to moment is a killer. Because it can create so much anxiety for us. You know, like, I'll never get out of this, or, oh my God, like, I don't have much time left on this earth. What am I going to do? Like, this body is just getting old and it's going to die soon. Like, if you let that thing take over and you could freak out. Seriously. Oh, what if my child dies? What if my husband leaves me? What if I lose my job? What if that guy doesn't like me? You know, my coworker. And people can't even go to sleep at night. It's a huge issue in our culture. But we can't even fall asleep. Because this thoughts have a lot of power, don't they? Right? I can attest to that. These emotions have a lot of power. And like you said, Gordon, they only have power if we give them the power. Right? So it's just like being a bull with a ring in your nose, and that outside condition can yank you around any which way the wind blows. And outside conditions are always changing. Practicing means what's one thing that never changes, not dependent on life and death. That's what we must find. And it's not like esoterically far away. It just means you come back to this moment, you know. Breathe in, breathe out. That's the only place I know that you can truly rest. That's the only place I know that's true. When we create a non-existent future and a non-existent past, we spin out. Tomorrow, oh my God, what if? That's a thought we're having now. Yesterday, all of that stuff that happened to me before is why I can't get out of this thing I'm in now, right? That's just a thought in the present moment. So letting go, back to this thing, I don't care what it is, what content it is, high-class Zen thought, or the lowest, like, pathetic, shallow opinion that we're all capable of, right? When you see it appear in your mind, just open your mind's hand. Our mind is like our hand. Think of it that way. Hey, that's a good one. I never thought of that before. So mostly we have this clenched mind, this clenched fist, right? And sometimes it's subtle. Sometimes we're really pissed off or, you know, whatever. Then it's really tight, right? My opinion. I'm right, you're wrong. How dare you? How dare you? That's one of my personal favorites. How dare you disagree with me? We get up on our high horse. That's tight-fisted mind. So when we see our mind like that, think of your brain like, or your consciousness, not just your brain, it's the whole thing. Just open your hand, your mind's hand. Let it go. Once when I was young, I was madly in love with this young man, here at the Zen Center actually. We had a lot of like Zen romances and breakups in this house. And it was always kind of awkward when you'd have the breakup to pass each other in the hall and eat dinner together and stuff. But anyway, I was very hung up on this guy. I was madly in love with him, and he wasn't madly in love with me. So I was trying to let go, say this is the boyfriend or my idea of the boyfriend. I was trying to let go, but I couldn't, But I was on my way to it. I knew I should, but I couldn't quite. So I went up to Transcending was visiting here. He was up in the teacher's room, and I went in. I was all teary-eyed and quiver-lippy, and but he did this and he did that. At the time, it was extremely tragic. I can assure you. We can laugh about it now, but it wasn't funny. I was like seriously hurting. And Transcending looked at me and he said, kind of exasperatedly, he's like, "You are my student." And he looks at me and goes, "Why holding?" Like almost a desperate mother. And in that moment, it clicked, it entered my mind, it entered my consciousness. And as God is my judge, I let go in that moment. It was like, I've told this story before, it's like snow falling off a roof all at once. When there's a lot of snow and it gets warm and it sloughs off all at once? That's what it felt like. Like open hand, like let go, this whole thing. And it just worked. No more pain after that. Done. Resolved. And it was kind of a heavy baggage, and it just worked, So all the efforts I think of, trying to return to your center, that all helped so that when the time came, it could work. It wasn't just out of nowhere. It's like when a piece of fruit is ripe and it falls from the tree. It's a whole cycle that comes to that point, There's the seasons, and there's right now we have spring coming. We're going to see those flowers maybe someday. Somebody at Providence, we had Buddha's birthday this weekend, and the Sangha from Maine was joking. They were like, they have a new saying in Maine, spring comes and the snow melts by itself. But that's going to happen soon. But that flower that pops out on the cherry tree in our front yard here, it's all informed by the ice and the withering of the winter, right? And when the blossoms fall down, it's like this cycle. And so it's all helping each other. It's all informing each other. These things I don't think that snow sloughing off or that letting go could have happened in a vacuum. It's all that hard training and all that return to don't know. It actually works sometimes. And sometimes I think it's important when it doesn't feel like it's working and we're thinking, I'm a bad Zen student. I'm a bad Zen student. Open your hand of your mind and don't attach to that thought. Because if you do, you will be a bad Zen student. Transcending always said, I can, then you can. I cannot, then you cannot. Which one do you like? And that's good teaching, So we make our direction clear and we go there. I can. Even though the whole way I'm kicking and screaming saying I can't. My whole being is going anyway. Fall down, get back up and keep going. So it's that constant unclenching. Okay? More questions?